How's it going, everyone? Mike Anderson here with the Reno Fly Shop. We're doing another tying demonstration. This is the good old Booby. Chartreuse and white, also known as the cat whisker if you're looking for it on the renoflyshop.com website. A great fly for Pyramid Lake, pretty much any lake. If I was going to do maybe a smaller lake, I wouldn't need such a stout hook, so I would maybe size it down or go to a hook size that's not so beefy. But all around great attractor pattern. And I'm going to show you a couple of ways how to tie this so that it'll stay nice and strong. You're not going to get any eye rotation. And the only thing that's really going to destroy this fly is some trout teeth. So, the Booby. So we're starting out with a fire hole 637. Okay, nice stout hook. We're also going to be using 170 denier. I'm going to give that a quick spin just to really cord up my thread, and I'm going to start it just a little bit, maybe a 1/4 inch behind the eye there. Get a really nice tight thread base. And then what I'm going to do is test it next to the boobies. And you can see I have them already pre-stabbed on my bodkin here, and I want to make sure that right where that thread starts is just about the right length for my booby foam. It looks like we're going to be just perfect. That's going to be my guide. I'm not going to tie really much forward than that. So we're going to take our thread all the way back. The chenille is just a Staz chenille. I believe it's the 15 millimeter. This is the chartreuse color, obviously. We're just gonna kind of strip some of those fibers, really showing off that core, and then we're gonna tie it in by just that core. And I like a pretty good sized booby body, so I'm gonna go down the bend just a touch, just a little bit past where the barb would be if there was to be a barb on this fly. And then on the way back up, I'll stop just shy of my original tie-in point. Give this a nice little palmer as you come up. I've noticed that if you just kind of lazily wrap it, some of those fibers will get kind of trapped forward. It just doesn't look as good. It's still going to fish just fine, but I really like to kind of give it a nice palmer, kind of pull everything back. And I want a pretty dense fly, so I'm kind of touching turns as I'm packing this. Okay, once I get to my tie-in point, I'm going to do 3 drop wraps, plus a nice solid pull down to really lock that in. Get my scissors in there, give it a nice snip. Twist my bobbin. Now, twisting your thread is crucial, and what we're going to do in a little bit, we're actually going to untwist that thread. So you really want to make sure your direction. I always twist to cord up my thread clockwise, and then to flatten it I go counterclockwise. Doesn't matter too much what direction you do, but it is going to make a difference, obviously. Next is the wing. We're just using white marabou. I like the select stuff, and I like to kind of grab from this lower reach here. You're going to take about roughly 1.5 inches. I like a pretty thick wing. So one thing too, when you have select marabou, if you just kind of pull it from the stem, sometimes the stem will come with it. So what I like to do is kind of get a measurement of how much I want, kind of separate it, okay, and then with my fingers give it a little pinch, really kind of exposing the only little group I'm going to grab, and then get my scissors in here and trim them free. And once I've done that, all I'm going to do is just pinch and stack until I get all of my butts lined up, and then pinch it, give it a little twist, a little roll. Perfect little wing there for this booby fly. And because I cut it off the stem, my tips are usually pretty lined up. I'm going to give them a little more of a square cut just to make my life a little easier. Again, spin that thread, make sure it's nice and corded up. And we're going to put that right on top with a little pinch wrap. I'm going to put it a little bit on my side, because as I give it pressure, it's actually going to spin a little bit to your side. And now as I tie in, I come all the way forward to the eye. A lot of pressure on that 140 as I come back to kind of that original tie-in point. Little bit of glue. This is going to really keep that marabou in there nice and tight, but it's also going to give us our first little grip for our booby eyes. So pull the booby off the bodkin. Okay, and I actually want my thread to flatten, so I'm going to go counterclockwise this direction and just let it kind of free spin there. And that's going to flatten out my thread. It's going to make it a lot easier to tie down these eyes. I'm going to put the eye right through the hole. If you did it right, it just kind of neatly slides on there. Sometimes you got to give it a little push, but I really want to make sure that it clears that eye. As you can see, as I'm pushing it in, pretty darn good. As we're tying it in too, it's gonna back up a bit. Take one check, kind of look down the barrel, make sure your eyes are straight. Now that my thread is flattened, these first two wraps are crucial. I really want to make sure I'm coming almost straight over. I don't want a big angle. Come straight over. Give those eyes a little pull back again. Okay, not a ton of pressure, but we'll give it a little tug. Come around the eye. Okay, so I just went around the eye, and then I'm going to come back and cross again. Okay, got to see it myself. And give it a little pressure. So I have one X wrap in there already. We're going to do another one. Give it a good bit of pressure. And then I'm going to kind of pull the eyes back just a touch and do one right in front of the eye. So there you go. Boobies are nice and secure. That glue has really set them in. My thread, which I will now cord. So I will spin it clockwise, and sometimes it'll fall off there. Just be careful because the eye is so downturned. And then from here, all we do is whip finish. Now, the whip finish is a little tough just because those eyes are there. So really pull back on your thread hand. Really kind of force that thread in between those booby eyes. Get a nice 3-turn. And again, because this fly is going to be hammered a good bit by some big fish, we're going to do a second one, really trying to tuck in that thread. And again, pull it tight, pop off the thread. One last little drop of super glue, so I'm going to kind of separate and pull the eyes back, get that super glue right on my thread wraps, both on top on the X's and on the whip finish part. So boom, there we go. That is our Booby Fly. This is available at renoflyshop.com as the fly or the tying kit. I believe the tying kit is going to come in 3 different colors. The Deadpool black and red, and the Martini olive in the olive and red. But this is the chartreuse and white. This is my go-to pattern when things get a little bit slow, or just a general attractor pattern. And just a great fly. Again, not just for Pyramid Lake, which did just open this year, the 1st or 2nd of November 2020. So get out there, tie it up. Hope you enjoy this tutorial. We'll have a few more to come here, hopefully doing about 1 a month. So have a good one.